it's nice to be here with you guys. Go ahead and laugh it up. It makes me laugh. My name is Joseph Johnson, and I am the CEO of International Plainfield. I'm a digital marketing company, music service company, and we sell branded merchandise, which I'm wearing. And we have a table right there just to kind of show you guys what this stuff looks like in person. I've been in the field of music for 16 years almost, and 10 years ago I completely lost my eyesight. It was due to a gunshot. I had gone through a lot of stuff once upon a time, and a lot of bad business dealings, and just not taking proper care of yourself as far as the stress that comes along with this field of work. And so, luckily I have bad aim.
Stop.
I'm here to meet you guys today and have a smile.
Oh my God.
I'm very, very dark humor. Go ahead. A friend of mine, he lives in New York now. His name is Caleb. He designed the IPF logo for me. It's pretty simple. I don't know how you can screw that up, but it looks pretty good. And despite being called International Plainfield, a lot of what I've done over the years has been local work. I've worked with young kids, artists, musicians, people interested in the business field. Some people have just come to me and said, hey man, how can I improve this? So a lot of what I've also done has been kind of consulting over the years. And the younger me didn't know that's what I was doing, and I should have been doing it for free. We go to the next slide?
Yep.
Awesome. This is I don't remember the order.
Hoodies.
As you can see here, these are the hoodies. These are professional photos. And this is our branded merchandise. I started this back in 2020, and ironically, a show called Love is Blind came out that same year. So hopefully they don't sue me anymore. And they should hire me to be on the show. So I started the hoodie brand as a way to connect with people outside of music, because before music, I've always been an artist. I think I won an art contest at the Lawrence Art Center years ago when I was in like 4th grade. Had my picture hanging up for like a few weeks. So, it's always been something that's in me, and even before this, before music, I wanted to be a comic book store owner. I don't know if you guys remember Astro Kitty.
Yeah.
That was the place to go. Or Game Guy. Stuff out there. So, business has always been in my blood, basically. So I've never done this before, so. As far as what my company does, when it comes to digital marketing, businesses sometimes can struggle with that, and especially the rise of the independent creator. There's a lot of artistic people, a lot of talented people who can make really amazing things, who might be really great with people, but they don't know how to translate that into social media. And so that's something that my company does, and that I've actually done relatively successful, I like to say.
Don't be too modest.
You gotta be humble beginnings, right? So I've done a lot of that type of work, and really what that entails is, first I'd like to preface by saying, when it comes to the person I'm working with, the person I'm working with is the reason why something will or won't work. All I do is come up with good ideas. And good ideas mean nothing if you don't have somebody to put them into action. So, next slide here too.
Yep.
Oh, that's
your kiddo.
This is my daughter Layla Blaze. She wanted to model for me, so I said, hey, get your career started early. She's very energetic, drives me crazy every day. It's my baby, I love her. No, we do not have kid sizes currently, sorry. It's 1 of 1. So when it comes to the ideas, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place here, but when it comes to working with a creator or a business or an artist, I try to figure out, what is your language? What language do you speak to people? What about you makes you somebody that stands out amongst the crowd? And what does your art speak to, if it's even art? I know I said we do music services, but it's digital marketing. I like to try to work with any and everybody, and music can just be an underlying template to add to whatever you're trying to brand. So I try to keep things broad, and music is kind of like an underlying that we can work with. So when it comes to that type of thing, even if you're not a musician or a content creator, we can still find a way to integrate music or just different types of culture and art into whatever you're trying to do. It doesn't have to be any type of niche particularly. And so, I ask those types of questions. I do a little bit of research to kind of figure out, like, where do you land in terms of how we're trying to present you. As far as music services go, and slide of this.
Art show.
Okay, before we get to that, I'll get through all these branded merchandise slides apparently. This is Abby. She was one of my hairstylists for a while, and I got her first modeling gig for the art show that was recently at the Art Center in October, and was a fundraiser for the Art Center. It did pretty well from what I've heard. Courtney Vardar, I believe is the lady's name, who put the event together, and she has her own company and does clothing. She invited me in. I was just downtown one day at a store, and she saw the Love is Blind hoodies and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?" I'm relatively fresh to the fashion scene, so a blind guy doing fashion.
Oh my gosh.
I got a million of them. So it was really good to, do this for her, and also have somebody else wearing my stuff and just representing for me like that. So that was a really awesome moment. And just, again, it was just a community experience. I was around a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds. So I've been in rooms like that before, but in recent times, I don't get out much. I'm pretty much a hermit. So it was really dope doing that. And shout out to her. So music-wise, there we go. So where I really get my stripes is I've been an artist and a songwriter and a music producer for the better half of my life. So I'm 30 just by the way. So 15 or 16 years I got my start. It honestly started out as a way to just kill the time, and then I realized, like, oh, I'm getting good at this. So over the years, people started actually coming to me and commissioning me for recording and production. So by the age of 20, I was a YouTube partner, and it was a fairly new program, and I was getting paid from ad revenue from YouTube. And blase. Around the same time, though, I had kind of burnt myself out. I worked for a long time. I worked a lot of hours just making music. And after a business deal gone wrong, I kind of got to my wit's end, and I tried to take my own life in that process. And it's a dark thing to talk about. I still I'm dealing with the aftermath of it more so than anything. And things like this, they make me happy, just being able to share and work with people. So after I went blind, I spent a few years just kind of learning how to live again and get acclimated with the world. And I also started learning way more about business, because that experience is kind of what fueled me to understand all the ins and outs and ownership and so forth. So in relation to what my company can do, we teach people everything they need to know about business, how to monetize, how to own, how to put your content out there, present it properly, and make sure that it's yours and that it's a clear message to whoever your target is. So a lot of what I do comes from personal experience of failure. Now, what do you got here?
Sure.
This is my star client. I don't know if I can say that. Trip Fontaine. This is a guy I've worked with for many years. Like I said, he is a star client of mine. He's based in Los Angeles, California, and he's a direct result of a lot of the work that my company has done over the years. And he has seen a lot of success prior to working with me. So, as like I said in the beginning, the artist is the one that makes it happen. I'm just a guy with ideas. He has done a lot of collaborative work in Los Angeles. He's done a lot of artsy things. He's traveled internationally, and that's what we're called, International Plainfield. And so he's just one of the few examples I have, but probably the best of what I can do to help an artist reach new heights and create and present things in a way that people will receive. He's definitely got a lot of production from me. We've collaborated on ideas, album titles, again, consultation and brand identity are some of the other things that my company does in relation to music services and just marketing in general. So he's taken well advantage of those aspects of the company, and it's been working out pretty well for us. And so I'm really proud of his progress and his work. So there is that. This was the music slide, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this says you always do this, right?
Yep. You're good.
All right. Little shameless self plug. This is actually my album. I recorded it over the course of 3 years, and I released it last year on my birthday. And this past Valentine's Day, we did a deluxe edition titled the Red Edition, and it's an expansion of that album. I don't typically talk about my own music, but I took a bet on myself recently, and it's starting to pay off for me a little bit. So doing music for me and for others has been a big part of my business, and it's starting to generate revenue. And so if you know any artists out there or people who are interested in music, bands, any genre, I can be of help. I can definitely be of help. And so a milestone I like to share real quick is my album, at least on Spotify, has almost accumulated 30,000 streams over the Valentine's Day weekend.
Wow.
So for me, that's pretty impressive. Once upon a time, I've had 1 million views on YouTube, but that was long ago, and that channel no longer exists. So to get back to this milestone and to do it blind, I guess it's pretty impressive. And I'd also like to thank the collaborators that helped me. I paid a lot of people to help me put this thing together. So that was awesome, and I just wanted to share that too. Shameless self-plug. And I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but professionally I go by Speezy on the Beat, or Speezy OTB for short. Website name as well. And I partially got my name from Lil Wayne. I don't know if any of you guys know him. He's a rapper. He's short. Yeah, he created the word bling too. So yeah, he actually coined that word. It didn't exist in the 90s until then. So he had a nickname called Wheezy, and long story short, I switched out the W with an SP and we got Speezy. So just a little origin story for you guys. As far as what else we do, we also do a little bit of work with AI. And I know we had somebody in here earlier say that they do AI integration, correct? Shout out to you wherever you're at. And so we do kind of the same thing, but we're less hands-on with the technology itself and more about translating the language of what you're trying to do with it. So writing text prompts, doing AI models for voice and for music are things that I've done for 4 or 5 years now. And I actually have videos made completely with AI. My album cover that you just recently saw was an AI-generated cover. And we still use real people, and that's something I'd like to stress before I wrap this up. Just with some of the AI talk and jargon that's kind of floating around, I'm pretty sure some people have seen it, some people like it, some people don't. I'm in the middle because AI has definitely helped me grow my business, and it's also just helped me continue to be a visual artist even though I'm visually impaired. So I just want to stress how important these tools are. So like when it comes time to start making real decisions about AI, I just want people to kind of be aware that this is not some apocalyptic world-ending technology like Terminator. This is actually it's a really useful calculator for the modern age. So just to put that out there. So if you ever wanted to, maybe make a voice model for yourself, or maybe you had a really great voice back then, and now it's more raspy like mine. And you want to create a younger voice and do music with a younger voice, we can do that type of thing. Maybe you want to do videos with a high octane scale, but we're not in Hollywood, so we can do that with AI. We can be really creative with that in that capacity. And I've actually helped a few of my clients integrate AI into their workflow and show them tools and help them develop habits with it so that they can do things that they might not normally be able to do. So with that being said, what is the final question? I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, you just have your contact info up there, and so what can we do, or what are some challenges that you have that you'd like feedback from in the room?
Right. One, tell me how everything looks. Two, word of mouth just goes a long way. So if you got a friend, tell a friend, or a family member, or whoever, somebody that might find my services useful. That's really easy. If you're not into the technology or the music aspect of anything, we have this branded merch. The website is SpeezyOTB.com. That's where the merchandise is. There's a table right there. These hoodies in person are $40. They're slightly more expensive on the website because of shipping and such. So if you want my services for digital marketing, internationalplainfield.com. It's a very simple website. You just fill out a form, and then we follow up with a phone call, and then figure out from there where you want to go, and try to get a little more information about you so we can work with you. So that is my journey, and as far as what else could be done to help, if you guys know an angel investor or somebody that help out too. I also have a GoFundMe. Search my name and my company, it should pop up. I'm trying to raise funds so that we can do more aggressive marketing. Marketing company isn't anything without marketing, And so things like that, just more support, more eyes, because I have no eyes.
Stop.
It keeps the room alive. So yeah, just more community support. I've been a member of my community for a long time. I've helped young kids, teenagers, adults, older people. I've helped a wide gamut of people. And it was just really good to be up here today and talk to people and finally get out of the house. So if there's any questions you guys have, feel free to ask away.
Joseph, I have a question. What kind of client are you hoping to find? Because you're doing the merchandise, you're doing the music, you're doing the media, so are you wanting to continue expanding what you're offering? Is there a certain niche that would be, you're like, hey, if everybody that comes to me wants help producing music, what's the target? What are you looking for?
Good question. Currently, what the original plan for the company was initially was to kind of focus on smaller creators and businesses that don't really have a digital footprint. And so that's kind of been the ideal customer for me in the initial inception of the company. And so what I want to do over time is I want to work with bigger companies, bigger businesses, people who already have kind of an established fan base or community base, whatever that looks like, and help develop that if they need help developing more creative ideas, or if they want to integrate, like I said, AI services and stuff like that. But currently, right now, I definitely want to target smaller creators and businesses that kind of just need help getting off the ground in the first place. But like I said, I'm willing to work with pretty much anybody at any scale. But I know that my services would be most effective for the little guys. So.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Miles, the AI guy that you referenced earlier, and I'm happy to talk with you.
Hey, my middle name is Miles, by the way.
Hey. someone that does own a digital marketing agency, I feel like that's a very broad umbrella term that can mean everything from website development to SEO to social media management to graphics creation and creative development. Like, it really means a whole lot of stuff. So I guess my thought for you would be maybe focusing the terminology a little bit rather than being saying that you're doing digital marketing, rather say, I don't know, creator brand development or something along those lines. Or you're still working in the digital space, but using that short form descriptor to really more focus what it is that you're doing, that particular term. I'm even moving away from it just because it's so big, it's so broad, and it doesn't really explain a whole lot about what it is that you do. I guess that leads into my question. The digital marketing side of things, everything you're doing, working with people on developing social media and putting out all this content, it's highly visual. So how do you navigate that, and how do you think that sets apart your perspective when helping people develop these brands?
Wow, this guy asked us. You're good. And I'm glad that you actually brought that up. I'm kind of scatterbrained all the time, so I couldn't actually directly address that earlier in the speech. When it comes to digital marketing, I do have a marketing partner that's adjacent with his own company. His name is London. And so he's somebody that I consult with to help with certain things that maybe I don't have the visual capability to do. And I also rely on volunteer work, and I also pay people freelance to get certain work done for me. Then I have some family that can help too. So there is also assisted tech, especially with technology, phones and computers I can use to a certain extent. So I am capable of setting up, accounts or going in and looking at data to a certain extent and analyzing it and recognizing patterns and such. It's just a little more tedious for me, honestly. Imagine looking at a spreadsheet or a graph with zigzags and can't see the zigzags. You gotta fill in the blanks. But as far as the digital marketing branding, we definitely do paid social ads. I can set those up relatively easy. Sometimes with some assistance involved, and as I said, I have like an adjacent marketing partner that I can work with to help me accurately establish certain elements that need to be done. And that's also somebody that I would port over a client for website work or more visual intensive work. So you are right though. Digital marketing has kind of become like a very cliche branding terminology. The internet has kind of expanded over the years. So we definitely probably need to retool that a little bit. I appreciate that pointer. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. And I know that you're still developing some of these things, so I don't know the perfect acceptable answer to this room as well.
So
Yeah, I was interested in hearing more about this, so probably more of a one-on-one meeting later. You definitely have an interesting, unique perspective on some of these things.
I definitely do. Sometimes people, especially on the internet, when I'm talking to strangers who just don't know anything about me, they're like, how are you doing? Like, bro, you can't be blind. How are you selling or making music or doing anything like this? And it's like, it's something that has to be communicated. It's definitely a way to present and communicate those things. And I'm glad you asked, because not a lot of people know how to ask that question sometimes.
Joseph?
Yeah.
I had a question. So, you guys have business cards and stuff?
I was just telling Carrie this morning that I left my business cards on my dresser. A stack of them. My daughter's bus was late picking her up this morning, so I just rushed out the door with my driver, and I completely forgot them. So, and this is the second time this has happened to me where I forgot my business cards, and I'm just like, it's not a good look.
But you have your contact info.
Yeah.
So,
Right?
internationalplainfield.com is the first website for the company. And for my music and branded merchandising, SpeezyOTB.com. On the beat, OTB apparently was a gang in the 80s. I've had people online say, yeah, man, bring it back.
Oh my God.
That's not what we're doing here. Speezy OTB. On the beat. So yeah, if there's any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Joseph, I don't know if I have a question, but just some thoughts or comments. Like, first of all, I'm super impressed with what you've done. Yep. And who you're working with and what you created is just really impressive. And I feel like Miles hinted at this. I kind of want to underline it. You know, your blindness is actually a strength. And, you know, it's unusual, like how many people are in the field you're doing that can't see. And that's a signature you have. And it gives you a depth and a way to hear the music and to create that others can't duplicate. And so I'd say, you know, consider how that really distinguishes you in a powerful way. It's a superpower.
Yeah, there's a guy called Daredevil.
And the fact of like where you come from and what you've done in that situation is, I mean, speaks volumes about your capabilities.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been kind of, I guess you could say, shy about branding myself outwardly like that. The Love Is Blind is probably the closest I've gone to just being all the way out there with it. Being somebody that could see for most of their life and then just only in the last 10 years not being able to see. It's been kind of tricky, especially as being a visual person in the first place that I was. It's been kind of tricky putting myself out there like that, and you're definitely right. I need to embrace that a lot more. Hearing that today just kind of reinforces it.
So like Beethoven wrote his best music when he couldn't hear, right?
That guy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely not a piano player. You know, I'm a digital producer, so I can play keys a little bit, but nowhere near Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles. But thank you, seriously, I appreciate that comment.
So Joseph, what would you say is your proudest moment so far?
Honestly, starting this business and staying committed to it, for sure. A few years ago, before I started this business, I learned about the SPC. This guy told me about it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you go up there and you have everything you need. You just got to actually put it into like an actual business format." And I was close to retiring recently. I kind of threw in the towel a few years ago. So doing this, and even just today, just being here at this point where I can talk to everybody, I'd like to say that, starting a business is my proudest moment, and just kind of sticking with it and the opportunities that it's brought me. While every day isn't eventful, sometimes I'm just sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. But on other days, things happen, and I have to keep that into perspective. That what I'm doing actually means something. So it's a hard thing to do on a day-to-day basis, but especially when you ask those questions at moments like this, I think I'm very proud of it.
Should be.
Well, are there any other questions before we wrap up today? No? Okay. Well, then I am going to, don't go anywhere yet, Joseph, because I have a question for you still, so you just stay right there. Okay, so before we end, we just want to make sure that we thank our sponsors, KUIP for hosting us, of course, Uplift Coffee for caffeinating us, Fast Signs and Silver Lake Bank for our signage, and of course, Wildman for all our digital marketing services that he provides for us. So thank you, Joseph Johnson, again for being here. We really do appreciate it. We thank everybody for being here, and remember to invite everyone to be here and bring your friends for next week when we hear from John. But one final question for you. What can we as a community do for you, Joseph?
Pray for me and buy something. Seriously, I think I mentioned this earlier. Just word of mouth If you want to check out some of the branded merchandise, you're more than welcome to. And any other form of support, like all the suggestions from the room today, definitely opened up some perspective for me. Stuff that I definitely needed to hear, and just stuff that reinforces what already exists. I think the community is already doing what it's supposed to be doing, and if you guys can just continue supporting and showing the love and advice that somebody like me needs to grow my business, that's all I can ask for.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.